Okay. Hello. I wanted to make a video kind of talking about my fitness journey. I've spent the past 11 weeks dieting. I just want to kind of touch on what that has been like and kind of how I'm feeling and what I've learned through this process, because I've never dieted this strictly for this long. And so it's been interesting. So when I started this, I was 320 pounds. I am on a GLP-1. Obviously that is not necessary for everyone, but I thought it would be beneficial for me. But one of the things that kind of scared me about a GLP-1 was the fact that, like, I've seen a lot of people who have started it, but they're not eating enough or lifting weights regularly. And so not only are they losing fat, they're losing muscle, and I didn't want to lose muscle. And so I've been very intentional about making sure that I eat. And in fact, I'm on a dose that I think is a bit too high, and so I want to lower that dose because I have the past few weeks found it kind of difficult to eat. I'm just not hungry. And so I do think I need to go down in dosage. My ultimate goal is to not be on it at all. I think initially when I spoke with my wife about it, it was we were going to do 3 or 6 months. It's been 3 months. And, I may do one more round. I'm not entirely sure, but I want to get that out of the way. I've talked about it before, but I just want to be honest about it out of the gate. I'm not on anything else. Yeah, not on anything else other than food and weights. I don't do cardio. I guess I can talk about what my routine is. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I lift weights. And then Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday, I do cardio / active recovery. So it's usually 30 minutes on the Stairmaster. And then I will do like 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes worth of stretching. And then I'll spend about 20 minutes in the sauna, just trying to recover as best I can. But I was saying, like, when I started this journey, I was 320 pounds. Not the heaviest I've been, but up there. I weighed in this morning at 288 pounds, like 288.6 or something like that. And it's crazy how much better I feel. Even though I am, I don't know, on days where I work out, I am pretty tired. Like today I played basketball with some friends. I was invited to play some basketball. And so I ran for 2 hours. Okay, well, hold on. Okay. Ran for 2 hours. I walked and jogged for 2 hours. And I'm actually pretty tired. But when I was kind of getting into this whole fitness stuff and really trying to take my health seriously, I didn't think about, like, my joints and stuff. And in the past, I would just get on a treadmill and start jogging at 320 pounds or 315 pounds or 310 pounds. And after a few weeks of doing that, my ankles and my knees would hurt so bad and my shins would hurt so bad that it would make it very difficult to run or get on a treadmill. And this time around, I didn't want that to happen. So I have only used the Stairmaster for cardio. I play basketball once or twice a month. And when I am playing, I'm not doing a whole lot of running or sprinting. There's the occasional sprint. Not that I can really sprint that well at this weight. My goal is to start using a treadmill somewhere after 275 pounds. Once I get below that marker, I'll feel more comfortable about jogging and potentially running. But at my current weight, I want to be very careful about my joints and my tendons, and I just don't want to hurt myself, In the past, it was always my hunger. I've never really had, like, I do have a natural sweet tooth. I have a very strong sweet tooth, but I've always had the ability to kind of get rid of those things. I've always had an insane hunger pangs, and just an insane hunger drive, I guess. It didn't matter if I was eating clean or not. I was always like, I could always, like, eating 3, 4, 5,000 calories wasn't really a problem. My diet currently is 26 to 2,800 calories, give or take maybe 100 or 200 calories, which puts me somewhere between a 500 and 1,000 calorie deficit, right? No, 500 and like 800 or 700 calorie deficit. So I'm currently losing somewhere between 2 and 3 pounds a week, about 3 pounds a week, because I've lost 32 pounds in 11 weeks. I'm eating somewhere between 300 grams of protein, and some days I've gone up to like 350, not necessarily, like, not intentionally. My goal is to always hit 250. But just the stuff that I have at my house is packed with protein. And so, I don't eat a lot of carbs. I am, carbs and I, we go way back. Okay. We go way back. And I have, a special place in my heart for carbs. And, I've lowered the carbs drastically. I probably have 40 to 50 carbs, maybe even less than that a day. At least I try to. There are days like Taco Tuesday. Taco Tuesday has saved me. I go get 4 birria tacos. That's not how you actually pronounce it, but for those of you that can speak Spanish, help me out. I can't roll my R's. This is not the time to explain that. But those tacos slap, okay? And so I have 1 day a week where I go out to eat, and I'll have 4 of those tacos, which comes out to, I don't know, somewhere between 13 and like 1,500 calories. So it is my like big meal of the day, and then I have a few more meals. But I'll have a protein shake. I have a bunch of egg whites and eggs, and then I have tuna every day, and I have these salmon like burger patties that I have every day. I've basically eaten the same thing every day for the past 11 weeks. One of my goals through all this was trying to fix my relationship with food. I have used food as a coping mechanism for as long as I can remember. There's a mix of that, sports, and video games. And when I stopped playing sports, well, that took away one of the coping mechanisms. Can you speak English? What is that? And then as I've gotten older, got married, started having kids, video games are not something that I get to do very often. Got to be a parent, got to be an adult. And so there are other responsibilities that take priority. And so what was left was eating food. And I should also preface, I've never been skinny. I've never counted, like, even as a kid I was obese. From like the 2nd grade on, I've been obese. And so I don't know what that's like to be super skinny and be able to like burn everything that you consume. I feel for you if that's your case. I have no problem putting on weight, clearly. I struggle with, I can't remember who it was that said it, but it was something like, you got an elbow problem. And he was on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm sure he has a YouTube channel now. What is his name? I don't know his name, but he was like, every time your elbow moves, your mouth opens, or every time your elbow bends, your mouth opens. That was me to a T. And growing up, I was told, you carry your weight well and whatnot. I'm 6'4", so I do have a larger frame, but I don't know. Something clicked in December. I think part of it's the fact that I'm a father of 3 now, and I think my mother has been in and out of the hospital for 18 to 24 months now, and like I'm heading down that path. And that is terrifying, because I don't want, I want to live a healthy life, and I want to live as long as I possibly can, and during that time I want to be as active as I possibly can. But also I don't want to be a burden to my kids, and not that my mother's been a burden to me yet. because, you know, she's still mobile, she still works and whatnot, but there is a fear in the back of my head of like, my mom is going to get to a point where she can't move, and me being the oldest, I'm going to have to step in. I guess technically I don't have to, but that's my mom, you know what I mean? I'm going to want to step in and make sure that she has some kind of quality of life. And I know I can't make up for decisions that she's made throughout her life. But what I can do is take care of me. And one of the things that I've realized through this whole process is like, there's a lot of uncontrollables, but the one thing I can control is showing up to the gym, you know, recovering as well as I possibly can, and eating the correct food, or eating healthily, or tracking my macros. I've tracked basically every lift that I've done and every weight that I've used from the time that I started until now, and I've tracked within that 100 to 200 calorie range, basically everything that I've eaten. I've had a handful of days, probably a total, I think 5 or 6 days over the past 11 weeks, where I've had 2 days where I've eaten whatever I wanted, and then I've had 3-ish days where like I didn't want to eat what I was like what my meal plan had, and so I calculated roughly in my head like, okay, I can eat this much if we go out to eat or something like that, and so I still stayed within a calorie deficit. So there's been like 2 days, 2 to 3 days where I just ate whatever, but for the most part it's been, you know, these are the calories that you're allowed to have. Figure out if you want to eat something ridiculous, then go eat it, that's fine, but here are the calories. And I think that was one of the goals, was like having a better relationship with food. Food's food. Obviously there are foods that are more nutritious and more healthy for you, and then there are foods that you just eat because you freaking enjoy them. And being able to balance that, I think I've struggled with for 32 years. Okay, maybe not quite that long, that's how old I am, 32. But for 25 years of my life, I've just struggled with that. And I had like a moment probably around week 8 where it dawned on me that like, when you're dieting and you're in a calorie deficit, you're going to be hungry. Now the GLP-1 has helped tremendously. I'm not going to play like it hasn't, but there have been days and weeks, like yesterday I had a pretty intense workout. I was so hungry. Even on a GLP-1, I was so hungry. But on week 8, I accepted the fact that like, I'm in a calorie deficit, I'm going to be hungry. That has been such a huge shift for me, because I don't know, there's something in your, maybe it's just me, but there was something in my mind where the switch just clicked on. It was like, oh, like, you're gonna be fine. Like, you're fat for a reason. You're unhealthy for a reason. It's because of the decisions that you made. So you have to go through the suck to get to become healthy again. And I think to maintain my weight, it's somewhere between, I think currently at my weight, it's like 3,400 calories. So I'm well under that. I am interested to see how I feel when I come off the GLP-1 eventually. But 2, I'm interested to see how I feel when I'm eating maintenance calories versus being in a calorie deficit, and comparing that also to the past where I was just eating whatever, you know. I'm doing things like eating protein, like egg white protein pudding. First off, I got a bone to pick with I don't have a bone to pick, but there are like fitness I don't even want to call them fitness influencers. They're in such great shape that like fitness influencer feels weird. There are fitness people out there that will tell you that like these protein, and maybe I'm making them wrong, these like protein puddings and protein ice cream and protein whatever taste just as good as like the pudding you get from the store, or, you know, Bluebell ice cream, or Ben and Jerry's, or I don't know, protein cake that you can make at home that tastes just as good as carrot. No. Why are we, what? No, they don't. Are they edible? Yes. Do you get to a point where like your taste buds change and you're not having as much sugar so it tastes fine? Yeah. But let's not say we're like, oh, it's like 80% of Bluebell or Ben and Jerry's. No, it's not. Sweetheart, baby. It's not even close. okay? Ben & Jerry's slaps. I had cheesecake the other night. I haven't had cheesecake and I don't know how, probably since my birthday, so like 6 months. Cheesecake, someone baked us a cheesecake. It slapped. It was so delicious. It was so good. I wanted to eat it all, but I didn't. If I made a protein cheesecake, it wouldn't taste like that. One, because I don't know how to cook it or bake it. But two, because you're not using the sugar and spices and everything nice, you know, Powerpuff Girls. But anyways, I've also kind of realized that, like, even though I've lost 32 pounds, I still could lose, like, to get to 20% body fat, I would be somewhere around 250 pounds, which means I have another 38 pounds to lose minimum. If I was 15% body fat, I would be 225 pounds. And I've always wanted to know what it would be like to be 10% body fat. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but if I was 10% body fat, I would be 205 pounds. Which means I have anywhere from 40 to 80 pounds of body fat that I can lose. That is insane to think about, which means I'm gonna have to spend another minimum of 12 to 15 weeks doing what I've already done. And the monotony of this is starting to wear on me, and I'm reaching the point where it's no longer like inspiration or motivation. It is routine and discipline. And I think that's what's so interesting about this second half of this weight loss journey so far, and maybe my fitness journey and overall, is like now I'm getting to the point where I'm in the weeds. I'm also kind of afraid of like what's gonna happen when I get to a low enough body fat that I'm really, really starting to feel it, because I have enough fat on me that I don't feel it, right? Most days. I don't know, I am excited though. I'm excited about the future. I know I have a lot to learn about nutrition, and I know that I should probably look into like looking up different recipes and stuff, because the monotony's starting to kill me. But anyways, that's been my journey so far. Maybe I'll make another update video sometime in the future.